not animal.
The Shiva strain, 100% lethal.
2 days? That's my birthday.
Revenge, you fool! I wanted your death to be in my hands. You, who are bonded with the adamantium process invented by my father. You, who stole my legacy.
Hello my gaming pals and gals watching all across the world from the north, south, east to the west. I am your host Gamessnia and welcome back to the show that looks for games from the past, the present or sometimes even the future and decide where they rank in history. And welcome back once again to the Gamessnia show. You know what? I actually feel good. Why, of all things? Well, I'm back for starters, obviously, but now I'm more reminded of games starting to return to their original glory, such as pay-to-win gambling. That's dying. More desired titles out there and selected remakes are doing so much more well now these days. Single-player games like Acquisition for Free, booming right now. Could we finally be returning to the untouchable days of the PlayStation 2 era? I think so. When I made this channel years ago, I wanted to make it so it could be entertaining for you guys, so we could talk about good games, bad games, all for an informative case, but maybe sometimes for a more personal situation of mine. And that's where we lead to today, with finishing an old and particularly underrated flame of mine back in the day when I was a little kid, which made me think of the words PlayStation 2. X2 Wolverine's Revenge. This game was just my jam when I was a little kiddie wink struggling to learn an education. It's what I needed. A Wolverine game starring Hugh Jackman based on the amazing X2 film. Perfect for such a youth loner. I remember loving it as a kid, all too well as a matter of fact, but damn was it hard as nails. But now I've grown like a sprout. I think I'm finally able to now sit down, ready to play this game through all the way to the end. No cheats, no shortcuts, plus I'm craving some Australian beefy tender hairy man with claws, so let's do this.
It comes back to me in the blink of an eye.
Wait a minute.
Bits and pieces.
Who? You know what? No, it's okay. He's a man of many talents, so he's probably just having a bad day. No. Mark Hamill. That can't be right. It must be missing. He's there. There. X-Men 2, Wolverine's Revenge. Based on the X2 movie. And Hugh Jackman is there, and even there, so... Where is he? Yeah, so as it turns out, this game, X2 Wolverine's Revenge, with Hugh Jackman, the film actor, on the front of the cover of the X2 film, and the advertisement on the back of the game telling us of the film's arrival in cinemas on the 1st of May, and the clear marketing towards the film that the game, funnily, has zero connection or relevance to that of its film counterpart. Wait, what? I've done a good amount of digging into this game just to see if I could find any added reason to why this was, but all I kept really finding on this yellow brick road of nothingness was the reason towards marketing the movie, despite it having nothing to do with the movie that came out at the same time, was that it would attract more eyes and get bigger sales and just help get much more mainstream attention towards the film and vice versa with the game, which I guess is true? But you know what? Never mind any of that. Let's just get on with it and ignore that before I start stumbling onto a dissertation towards my feelings on that specific matter. I miss menus like this. How is it a menu from 2003, 4, 1, 2000 3 has more charm, taste and atmosphere than most games from, well, whatever time period we are in still, ladies and gents.
What is that?
All we have now is... we're supposed to go forward in history with this stuff, not back. Why is it always like this? Like, can we not just... let's just get on with this already, please. But not with this kick-ass opening section of an act. It's one of the best opening sections to a comic book superhero D-God game thingy I've ever played in my life. Nice little few levels of learning the basic controls of the combat and stealth mechanics. Not that there is much. Presenting it all in the most perfectly set tone of a 1960s Weapon X facility, from a snowy, desolate facility to the busy underground tunnels where we...
You ain't even begun to hurt yet, short stuff.
And the only, yes, I mean when I say the only proper adaptation of the Weapon X program. Oh, but Gamessnia, X-Men Apocalypse actually did a pretty well job at reenacting. The only proper adaptation. So after all of that, and making our way through the snowy field of mines and doors, and becoming Weapon X slicers in the process, to transitioning with espionage-filled corridors with lasers and sneaky guards like on Splinter X, to then fighting...
sad, twisted experiments created by Department H's sickos.
in a very different shift of tone with... that. So we got a stabby and kickity flip-flop our way through these abominations in quick fashion. Wait a minute, that's not right. You know what also isn't right? That elevator. It's one fucking floor, are they that lazy?
You can't hide from me.
Oh, just leave me alone, you... So after so much nonsense and making our way out of a sudden electricity bill problem, and after such bullshit of this not killing experiments like how and the fuck's going on here, and okay, Jesus Christ, I was joking. They really need to start upgrading that electricity pan or stop watching some Inhumans at this point before they do. Oh, look at that, it's actually working now. But we could end it there, but only like an hour later do we discover the main reason that we are here, and the professor gladly summarizes it to us in the most friendly player way imaginable, instead of explicitly complicating things. So, Professor, why are we, the player, here?
All Weapon X subjects were implanted with a dormant killer virus. The Shiva strain, 100% lethal.
How long?
For a normal human, 1 year. But with a mutant healing factor, who knows?
That was a long time ago, Hank.
Whoa. So, you're going to tell me that the story part of this game we have already went through as of today wasn't actually part of our main story, but instead a flashback of an explanation of the main story's detailing on where we can go with the actual main story right before we can start that proper main story, after playing the flashback that gives us the whole context on where the main story is even going at this point, so that we can even start the main story. Yes, so in an earthly, extended, cool as fuck flashback act, we learn and discover Logan now has a countdown on his life on the back of the deadly killer
Shiva strain.
that'll break down his healing factor and kill him like a piece of fried chicken, all within the educate estimate of 2 days.
2 days? That's my birthday.
That was pretty fucking funny.
You know I ain't taking this lying down.
I didn't expect you to. That's why I've been keeping Professor Xavier in the loop about your condition.
Logan?
Oh yes, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Patrick Stewart, the man, the myth, the poop emoji. Ew. The Picard, the third best portrayal of Macbeth I've seen. The one and the only that we even dare to call the true and definitive Charles Xavier. Holy water, kill it, send it to the depths of hell right now! What in the holy living Macbethian hell of fucking Picard fuck did they do to my boy Xavier? This isn't my Charles. It's It's Lex Luthor. And no, not Gene Hackman, not Kevin Spacey, and absolutely not recently betrayed Nicholas Hoult. I mean Jesse Eisenberg's version of Lex Luthor. I swear to God, they better have Magneto in this game, and they better have Ian McKellen playing him, or I swear I'm going to scream.
Give up, Logan. This is senseless.
Oh, let's just get on with this already, please. So X2 Wolverine's Revenge is a very different case of a game, in the sense that it follows very different rules compared to other video games. It doesn't want to. It's the weirdest case of how standard a video game can get and how polished just doesn't exist. The gameplay that exists, however, is you traversing your way through each of the levels, or acts as they're called. Would pray if I never mention this again because of the lack of opportune time to do so, but the artworks displayed in the loading screens of these acts are fucking cool. Almost enough to hang up on my wall. Like, bravo art team, you actually managed to get a gold star from me because of the effort you put in here. You make your way through these acts by punching, kicking and slashing your way through enemy encounters, and on the odd occasion, sneaking your way through quiet takedowns and collecting dog tags and finding hidden collectibles throughout the levels like comic book covers for cool alternate outfits to wear, and cerebral files for character descriptions narrated by our aptly referenced Mr. Stewart, just only without this face staring at you and your nightmares. What about the combat of this game? Surely there's more to it than just this, right?
No.
Well, almost. The flow of its combat boils down to dealing with enemies by spamming square with no form, rhyme or reason endlessly to slash your enemies to death with no remorse, or if you wish, maybe take your time with carefully picked precision combos in a non-needed manner the game offers you for some reason. The game has this as an option when the alternative is so much more easier and effective, making the detailed system feel unnecessary and the usual norm being a very bare bones and generic playstyle where every encounter is the same. You also have rage, energy, which basically makes you invincible for a brief amount of time after taking or dealing a certain amount of damage, and it basically adds even more incentive to, you guessed it, spam square even more. You can also ultimately end these encounters with an execute final finishing strike for added style and to gain dog tag medals, which is also obtained through stealth methods and certain special freeway strike moves, which all help evolve the variety and strength of probably the only unique and cool asset to the current combo style to make it even past the area of semi-interesting. Oh, and loads of this. Riveting. And despite the nostalgic enjoyment that I got from it, I would be lying to you if I said if it ever changes or never gets tiring, like Jesus. But hey, we can ignore that and just try to sneak through this heavily alerted and rough stormfield and power up these generators the best way we know how. Sticking shit into them. And make the way through into the deeper underground portions of Alaska.
It's quiet. Too quiet.
I love the classics.
Speaking of a classic, this fucking music. And it's like I said, the soundtrack. It's a big example on where each piece of music has its own staple on the levels. Pure key and prime example on what each soundtrack does and means in a video game. Act 2 creeped me out so much a kid, because why wouldn't it? In an abandoned factory with the Wendigo lurking in the caves, and this is what you're accompanied by. It is enough to send chills down your spine to the point that it's going to go all the way back up to your brain, so that those spine chills are going to come back much later on. The game just knows about setting that mood and tone, whether they wish to do it through the soundtrack or promising art style. Whether it's you escaping as a rabid mutant trying to slash and claw your way out of captivity. Fighting in a mega level class mutant that is the biggest threat to someone like Wolverine, plus a big choir to illustrate how iconic he is in the world of X-Men. Or even an ice dance-off with the Wendigo, spinning him around like the hammer throw Olympic track and field event. But anyways, after a creepy act, it's time for the pure meat of our talking point today, as we can sneak past the strong and tight defences at the Weapon X facility, of which I'm starting to think Wolverine thinks about one thing in particular with the way he describes it as.
Security looks tighter than one of Jean's costumes.
And you know, I don't really like being that guy, but I'm starting to think the developers had a distinct view in certain X-Men. But nevertheless, are you ready to understand and comprehend the total trial and error catastrophe that is playing X2 Wolverine's Revenge? Great, because we finally arrive at the Weapon X facility in Act 3, and disabling the camera is the first goal before moving on, so that we don't risk... So we have to take out Guard A, through this door, on the monitor, out the door again, then towards the far end to disable such force fields. Sneak our way in, stick the guard there like a painting on the wall. Don't take out the generators yet. First, the guard upstairs, crack the neck, then destroy the generators powering the shield. Time to make our way into the next area, carefully subduing the enemies chilling beside their eyes, avoiding the lasers on the guard in the next room so we can trial and error our way through these boom boxes for a
Decoding device.
to use on the upper level door so that we can access the soldier barracks area to wake the solderinos up, adamantium style.
Wakey, wakey.
Helping us collect a keycard in a minefield command room to help access a turret room to help blow up an electrified fence, which is blocking the main building path where we will find the main keycard for the locked door in order to remotely get close to the main direction of the base objective. To which, if you fuck up any one of these sections on the way to this finish line of this long, drawn out, demanding, as tough as all nails singular level that can end just as easily in the quickest heartbeat of a segment, including the royally dickish, unpredictable, and health draining absolute bullshit minefield section, congratulations, you tough shit. You are starting out all over again and having to go through every single painstakingly little task one by one each time you replay it, including the slow, agonizing wait of healing every time you take damage, and then you finally try and progress, and then you finally got the health X2 Wolverine's Revenge is separated into 6 acts with their all own bosses and locations within them, and I think it's safe to say that this game doesn't really display that true colour until Act 3 with its trial and error shenanigans, with its extremely streamlined level designs with nothing other, as I have just rigorously explained, where every single level, at the very least, you learn a little bit more each time before passing that specific mission on your 5th, 6th, maybe even 7th try, and then boom, on to the next one. Yeah. That's the experience of playing X2 Wolverine's Revenge for you. A trial and error action piece. What? I ain't chucking in the master part. You're mad if you think it deserves that honour. Yes, the spike presented in Act 3 is pretty wild, all things considered, and a tad bit unforgiving, especially with the death lasers. But look, I'm adaptable, I'm manageable with it. Sabretooth even gifted me with a boss fight on my birthday too. But then there's Act 4. The Void. You. And you. This f***ing of a f***er, f***wad, f***er, and never in my life have I ever seen a game with a difficulty spike this egregious, this insane, and just this unfair. Like, what the fuck? How many times this exact Same section, rooms and balconies quadruple times over, the same starting level, knowing exactly what part to do it in a specific way, going down the same pathways like I mentioned before, only to die within fucking seconds. Absolute milliseconds. And oh look, you guessed it, back to the beginning once more, only to fail again because of shitty controls and game design. But 5 fucking times, and I'm at the same stage from when I started this? Oh god, I fucking hate these! Mark Hamill. I forgot. As much as he isn't Hugh Jackman, I gave him the cold shoulder earlier, and Hamill, honestly, I feel bad for that, because he actually does a pretty fantastic job for what he is given in this game, and does actually capture a really good solid comic depiction of Wolverine, and I genuinely love Hamill, forever and always. Fantastic actor. He is a fantastic actor. I'm an aspiring actor myself, but what a death cry that man has. I wish I could copy it. What an actor. Let's hear it again, it's great. How about if he did it again? Damn it, that is great. How about we hear it again, because it's really good actually. How about one more? You getting the point I'm trying to make now? You think it maybe lets off after that, however, or maybe gets a little bit less forgiving? No! It just doesn't let up. Another droid section, but this one is 10 times worse. I could talk a lot here about how the level throws you into alert red instantly without warning, which we haven't established when it comes to the Void isn't good. Or that you have to take out the same 3 guards every time you start the mission before touching the droid, of which 80% of the level consists of you walking down this big, long, multi-level death corridor that occasionally takes 5 or 6 shots from enemies in a compact corridor normally, where trying to take out a few specific soldiers is like scoring a bullseye in darts whilst riding a skateboard at top speed. Yeah, pretty impossible high shit right there. So why are we now amping that up to 11 with a big fuck off corridor with sniper, Eiffel Tower, marksman balconies and ground droids all simultaneously firing at once? Like, I understand difficulty, but this is ridiculous. Who is this for? The deaths I received in this hour trial and error bullshit was slowly starting to piss me the fuck off, that I started to actually despise my favourite piece of soundtrack from this game. Yes, that's how bad it was. It's almost to drive a person insane. Even take this final case in point. You're in the home stretch, the void suit is off, and you've just got a few more stealth sections to go before one final ambush. Not too much, is it? The Void. Okay, I'm convinced now, purely convinced, that this section of the game is designed to fuck with you. Act 3 was actually difficult and challenging in a mostly fair and understandable way, without it chucking too much bullshit in your way that was absolutely absurd, all in your direction all of a sudden, which this section doesn't stop doing. Oh my god, it's absolutely ridiculous. So why am I still smiling? Because I still enjoyed it, honestly. It was hard, it felt bullshit, but god damn it, I just can't lie after all this, because I did in a sadistic way. Even after the most bullshit part of the game, we are actually having a treat here, where we are finally finding the other half of the formula needed to cure Logan's Shiva virus, and a delight in that is when he gives his reaction to his communication with Xavier being cut off because of the communications tower's disruptive shield, and it genuinely might be one of the funniest things that I've ever seen in a PlayStation 2 video game, and something that I can originally claim as a meme as my own to use in conversations with my buddies because of its effectiveness and absolute hilarity.
Something's wrong. Xavier ain't getting through.
A psionic link?
That is a certified classic. Ubisoft claiming microtransactions make the player experience more fun? Kevin Feige says certain characters shown in Phase 5 films once will never be used again? Tekken 8 is still a good and very well balanced game. Oh my god, that didn't take long. It only took like 6 levels, but we got there. And where is it? Outside! And it's finally a place within an act again, which is the one constant highlight of enjoyment. And that's the boss fight. I've talked about the bosses in very brief, honestly, but that's such a disservice to them, as they really are the best parts of the game for me, because of how each one of them offers its own style and feeling to it, which kind of makes it stand out from all the other aspects of this game, and can be considered some tough bastards when you tackle them for the first time especially. Well, apart from Sabretooth. Sabretooth is Sabretooth for a reason. Ian Livingstone's classic composition of approval even helps this. These bosses are just the bee's knees of X2. Just ask that bone-chilling and well-executed skillful-based atmosphere-filled boss fight with Miss Yuriko Oyama in the final stretch if you want complete validation. Even Juggernaut in the Void is no exception to this rule. See, this is challenging, having to avoid his attacks by jumping across the entire arena while trapped inside this ring and aiming for his helmet to get some damage in. Everything about it was great. The skill level, the roadblocks it threw at me, the legendary voice lines.
No, not the helmet! Don't touch the helmet! Don't you ever touch my helmet!
For God's sake. I'm so stuck and fixated on this whole thing from the part of this game, from the Void and the fucking droids and the bullshit, that I've just missed up all the other points that I need to talk about. You know what? Fuck it. No more Void. One of the worst sections in a video game, bar none. Easily. So, speaking of the worst, why is this game so fucking ugly a lot of the time? With the way these models look on occasion and how unfinished they seem, and with the insane difficulty spikes that just pop up here and there, especially like I mentioned in the Void section, I'm maybe starting to think that there's maybe a common issue at place here. Hell, did you know there's actually rage energy pickups to help boost your rage in fights, but they are placed in like the worst inconvenient cubby holes imaginable, and there's only like 2 of them in the entire game, or at least the ones I've seen so far? What? 2? That's an afterthought, really. That feels like it got included last minute. It's kind of the same with the combat as well, isn't it? It just, you know, it's like the game just tells you it's just square, 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 square. So that's all it is, really, isn't it? No! There's actually something here. Like, look at this. Base maneuverability such as rolls around you and flips to the left, right, and even behind you. Basic combo and kicks. Kick, kick, kick. Flip back. Jumping kick to the side. More of a square guy with a punching button? No problem. Clawless? Punch, punch, punch. That's a good combo. Or clawed version by any chance? Maybe. Maybe add a good 1-2 combo with a punch and a knee. Oh, and we got lower attacks. A sweep kick. A sweeping claw strike. All the different variations of strikes at different heights to help confuse your foes of harsher volition. Why is this even here? This combo. This combo right here is all you need to know of or even bother when playing this game. In the end, they always fall to it. It's that and strikes. Hit them once and line them up for combo strikes and congratulations, you just won at X2 Wolverine's Revenge's combat. Not rewarding, very repetitive and adds nothing to the imagination. But hey, at least it looks cool. With every little thing I've seen, I'm starting to think that the whole rumour of rushing the game out to meet cinema deadlines to market alongside the X2 film for sales boost of not only the movie but the game cohesively is starting to maybe have some truth to it here. Hell, there's even a final cutscene to which Logan forgets and remembers back to the Void when Sabretooth broke out 3 Omega class mutants, to which we only got 2 out of the 3 in boss form fights. Like, what the frick? Did they just forget about that? This game is just weird. But that's X2 Wolverine for you. A really strange game. A messy flow of a game for such an all over the place story. A not thought out well, too much style of gameplay, even though it has all of the complications of a really really intricate good one in there. A major balancing issue when it comes to its own difficulties, all of which we can maybe assume comes from the supposed rushed development to coincide with the movie's supposed marketable release, and I can't even blame it if that is the case. This game, despite all the problems that it has, and trust me, it has a lot, it's not perfect, it's still something heavy to enjoy, from its music, powerful atmosphere, amusing boss fights, which the Death Strike one is my favourite, very flawed and extremely thrilling gameplay. Yes, I know, I heavily just criticised that part, but it's still one of those games that I could just even recommend, just playing for like maybe a few hours to get that little or even full sense of odd enjoyment, and maybe a few hours of fun from everything that you play here. But regardless of not if you're going to listen to me or even play that game, I thank you all very much, guys, for joining me on today's episode and broadcast of the Gamessnia Show episode. But until the very next Gamessnia Show episode, I will pitch you all adieu, and I will see you guys all in the very next Gamessnia Show episode. And until then, guys, Gamessnia once more, forevermore, signing off.